Hello, hi, and welcome to Empathic Fire. I am your reader, Jay. These are going to be general messages for the sign of Virgo in July 2021. What's going on, Virgo? How are you guys doing? I hope you all are doing well. All right, guys, welcome to July. Wherever you are in the world, I hope you're safe, happy, healthy, and secure. Take good care of yourselves and those that you know and love, all right? Virgo, no other announcements here in the month of July, but happy 4th if you were celebrating here in the States or anywhere abroad for the holiday. And if you're celebrating any other holiday that I don't know about around now during the month of July, I hope you have a good time, okay? Virgo, that's going to be the start of your reading, so we'll jump in there in just a moment. We'll clarify further with this deck and talk about the bottom of the deck as your overall energy in a bit. But to begin, you guys have the Nine of Cups, Emperor, repeating energy coming out, and then the Ace of Swords. And I think the Nine of Cups I think it came out in a previous reading as well. So one of the things they want me to tell you, or that was coming through in the premeditation, was the phrase new horizons or new horizon. Could be talking about thematically in your life, you're facing new horizons or you're seeking new horizons. Could be the name of a company or some other entity, like maybe it's the title of a book or a TV show or something like that you're a fan of, but the phrase new horizons, okay? If that doesn't apply to you, that's okay. Don't worry about it. And then Emperor, major kind of for Aries, you could be dealing, but you don't have to be. I feel you may be dealing with someone who's very astute, Emperor energy, very in control of self, in control in a situation, the head honcho, right? Could be a friend, boss, you. It could be you, Virgo, who knows? But this person, I think, is very powerful, very strong, very demanding, or commanding of space that they come into. Could be a larger than life character is what this feels like. A very prominent, very obvious person. Either physically, they're obvious, they're very, they draw your eye with the way they look, the way they dress, or it's a combination with their personality. They draw your attention with their charisma or with the way they speak, something like that. Somebody who all eyes are on them, or not in like a showy way, but like in a, oh, what are they going to say next? Like anticipation comes when we talk about the emperor, because they decree, they give orders, they tell other people what to do, or they let other people know what they're going to do, and screw the rest of you. It's like very, okay, you get me, you get this person's personality, okay, good. I feel like their wishes, their wants are superseding other people. So again, this could be a boss. So it's the summer up here in the northern hemisphere. A lot of vacations are being put in. And maybe this is you dealing with a boss saying, hey, listen, I need time off of work. And this is your boss saying, no, I don't think so. Or this is your boss saying, oh, I can only, green light you for, 4 out of those 10 days. The rest we need you back here in the office or something like that. It could be, as has been the way with the pandemic, it could be that your office or wherever you work is opening up, and this is the emperor calling people back. I feel this person has that ability or has that power. And basically what they say goes, and this pleases them. This is a person who, if they are in a position of leadership, Virgo, they feel very comfortable there. They've worked for it, or they feel they deserve it, and aka some of them might feel a little entitled. And where you fit in, again, it could be you, but I think you deal with this person. I think you intersect with them in some type of way. Many of you, it's a boss, or like, again, someone in leadership, like maybe not your direct boss, like maybe your direct is a manager, and this is like the CEO. So it's like not directly over you, but definitely still influences what you can and cannot do, and when you can and cannot go on vacation, things like this, or what projects you want to work on. Maybe it's not about, having leisure time and enjoying that. Maybe it's about, I'm really interested in working in this sector of the business. And maybe like you're seeking permissions or seeking grants or seeking, seed money or something like that, or some type of budget, and this is the person who's like, no budget. And again, it doesn't have to be your boss, like, or right, they could be the boss of finance, or they could be, heading up a certain committee, and it's just like, whatever they don't think should exist or pass or be permissible, they don't allow it, and that pleases them very much. 9 of Cups. Now, that's super work related for many of you. Others of you, it's much more personal because this is a father archetype. It can also sometimes be a husband archetype. Not saying it has to be a man who is either your father or your husband, but it's this intimacy thing. This relationship for some of you is domestic, or it's personal. It's not business, all right? In the case where it's personal, I mean, I get like it's a protective move from this person. They believe what they say or what they think should be done is for the best interest of the family, for the best interest of this small, tight-knit group of people. A friendship circle, this could also be for some of you. And it would be incredibly hard to go against this person's will, to go against what this person says is the next best thing to do. They have a lot of clout, is the notion I feel. It's clout. It's not necessarily that, like, let's say this person calls the shots, again, around the house. Let's say this person decides, how much we spend here, or how a certain room is decorated, blah, 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 blah. But they may not be the breadwinner. You understand? Or they might not live there primarily. Let's say that. So this person could say, you can't hang the, oh, right, like a landlord. Duh. I'm like, who doesn't? Okay. So there you go. It's like they tell you how you can live in a certain space. What you can have dogs here, you can have cats here, you can't have cats over here, you can't have dogs here, whatever. Like, that's their decision, even though in your personal estimation, Virgo, you would love to have a little kitty cat that eats canaries for breakfast or something. I don't know, but for some reason, well, I would assume most people wouldn't want cats to eat birds in their residence, but you know what I mean. It's like this person says no cats, and you're like, but I have 4 cats, and they're like, yeah, no cats, and that's the end. Like, it's very much period at the end of the sentence. And there's nothing more to discuss. There's nothing more to say. And they're afforded this. They're allowed this. Either that's the dynamic that has always existed in your relationship, whether, again, it be personal or business. Again, this could be your landlord. You rent property from them. Or you know them intimately in terms of, like, you're married to this person, you share a home with this person, you share a business with this person, this is your brother, this is your sister, whomever. Doesn't have to be a man, but, there is a very strong masculine energy here, so I will say that. If it is a female body person, they have a very strong masculine persona or energy about them, and it is very authoritarian. Could be the leader of your country. And maybe you work in the government, maybe you work for this person very indirectly. And, I have relatives who work for the government, and like, if certain things don't come down, or if certain things come down from the White House, it will affect my relative's job. And that's super indirect, but that's the chain of command. You know what I mean? So that's what this feels like. They have clout, they have power, they have influence, and it may or may not seem, quote unquote, fair that they have this power and this clout, okay? All right, so let's see what else is going on here for Virgo. Give me more on this situation for Virgo. Further information, further messages for Virgo regarding this scenario, regarding this situation, please. What else can you tell Virgo at this time in July 2021? Okay. One more at least, please. Okay. Bottom of the deck is the overall energy. And all face down. Interesting. All right, Lovers. For some of you, that's what it is. 5 of Cups. And the Devil. Okay. So for some of you, this is a... how can I say it? It's like a light toxic situation. And that's not for everybody. Some of you, it's deeply toxic. But for some of you, it's a very... quote unquote light toxic, because it doesn't feel awful to be engaged with this person. It's kind of, some of you are like, well, that's how they are, and and you're kind of like shrugging it off, like this isn't a big deal, they've always been this way, or oh, when we talk about finances, they kind of get irritated, and so I just know not to bring that topic up with them in order to avoid any type of strong, again, like this, walking into a room, making a statement, and like that's it, like very pronounced, very impactful presence. You don't want that. as as one of my friends says, you don't want that smoke, right? You don't want that. You don't want to engage with this person in an adversarial way, or you don't want to get on their bad side. And that is why I say light toxic. It's still toxic AF, BTW, right? It's still awful to deal with a person who, this character has come up in several readings, so the collective, I think, is dealing with various emperor incarnations, but this particular person feels quite inflexible, again, similar to what I've read for other signs this month so far. And when you deal with a person who's inflexible, there's a time and a place to be like that. But if that's their standard mode of operation, and you have to deal with this person on a regular basis as friends, family, business partners, whatever, in some of your cases, lovers, right? This is your spouse. And to deal with that person, right? You see, like, my energy is like becoming exhausted by talking about this story. So I'm imagining you, Virgo, are exhausted by this person. Or if the shoe is on the other foot, someone is exhausted by you, Virgo, because you're inflexible, because what you say goes, and that's all that's the way you think it should be. So flip it around if it must be flipped, right? Lovers, Gemini, Devil, Capricorn, could be dealing, don't have to be. So I think for those where this is a more intimate relationship, a personal relationship outside of your work world, it's very disheartening to deal with this person, because maybe they weren't always like this, Virgo. Maybe this is a development in their personality. Maybe they've grown to be this person. Maybe something has changed them. Nine of Cups is wish fulfillment. And then you have the Emperor, in my mind, the Emperor sits on a throne and is very firm there, similar to all the kings in the court cards, right? Sitting on this throne, feeling like finally at home, right? Finally feeling aligned and in the right place. So if someone has worked their way to the top or been granted a position of power, they don't want to be deseated, or dethroned rather, right? This fulfills them in some type of way. And I suppose the catch-22 of that is that other people in the situation feel emotionally bankrupt, feel emotionally drained and exhausted because of this intermingling, because of this connection. Yes? You know what side you're on, Virgo. I'm thinking you're mostly not the Emperor, but some in the Virgo energy are absolutely showing up as the Emperor. And Devil in this deck and other decks definitely lets us know that someone feels tied to a situation, someone feels tethered to something, inescapable energy. This feeling, this concept of inescapable. So if you're married to them, most people, I assume, take their vows seriously, and the whole till death do us part, through richer or poor, all that kind of stuff. They mean that. And so as much as I agree, and I would take vows very seriously, if I were to ever be married, I wouldn't be like, oh yeah, sure, richer for poor, blah, blah. I would mean it if I made those types of promises to a person. But at the same time, there's like an asterisk for me, and that's probably why I would be best to write my own vows. Because if sticking with a person through trials and tribulations means that one person feels victorious, feels fulfilled, Nine of Cups, and the other person feels Five of Cups, which is what this feels like. It feels like a two people who are in a partnership. One person's very happy with things, everything's hunky-dory, and the other person is feel like constantly, they feel like shit. They constantly feel on edge. Constantly walking on eggshells. Damn you for not focusing, camera, but for real. Having to walk on eggshells for a person, right? And it's not just down to marriage, it's any type of connection. So I don't know about you. I don't want to make promises to be in any type of relationship like that. And I don't live my life that way. Maybe that's why I might not get married. Who knows? Maybe I will. I don't know. But I feel that promise, devil energy, Capricorn energy, father archetype, it's very much interested in loyalty, very much interested in fulfilling duties, fulfilling roles. So if you have the role of wife, you have the role of child, you have the role of employee, whatever. There's like this hierarchy that someone here doesn't want to waver from, doesn't want to change, doesn't want to rewrite. And that doesn't serve the other person. Like, again, it's like a power move. Yeah? So Virgo, if you're dealing with this person, I mean, I don't see much of a solution with them because they are not in a mood to change. They're not in a headspace to change. They're not in the belief, Ace of Swords there, not in the belief that they have to change, that there's anything wrong with the situation. It serves them, or it serves the greater good, or maybe not the greater good, that might not be the best phrasing, but it serves the whole rather than the individual. So this think of it that way. You know, this could also be someone who's like, I sacrificed, why don't you sacrifice? I'm giving my all, how come you don't give my all? So it's like a tit for tat, or like a comparison thing. Here's what I'm bringing to the table. Again, a very powerful person, a very dynamic person, a very charismatic person. And then they're looking at you or looking at other people going, step up, or saying, hey, I'm, you know, again, going back to this idea of vacation. Like, some bosses are like that. I never take vacation, so why do you take vacation? Well, because we're not the same person, Bob, or Sheila, or whoever. Screw you. Like, that would be me, Jay, the reader, because I don't vibe with energies like this. I can be inflexible at just as much as anybody. I have certain principles or certain things that I'm like, no, I don't think so. But what works for me doesn't work for the other person. And in per circumstances, I have to allow other people to be how they are. That's respect. That's mutual respect. Now, some might say, well, in the context of work, Jay, you have to put your all in, and maybe certain jobs require certain commitments, being on call 24/7, or, you know, not, you know, the things that you give up in terms of the perks, in terms of vacation and time off from work, you might make up for in terms of earnings, which I told you, someone here might have a good amount of money, right? They've got, and money to some degree can be a powerful tool, right? So I get it, but at the same time, I don't get it, because the feeling of suffering down here, which I don't relate to 100%, and it's not for me to relate, but like I'm observing, I'm looking at somebody who is incredibly sad and feels they have nowhere to go. Maybe that's it, because the Emperor also likes that, for other people to be beholden to him, for other people to need him. I can't do without you, Emperor. That, Nine of Cups, fulfillment. So this person can threaten, quote unquote, threaten your vacation time because they know you need the money. They know this is a good paying job. They know that whatever benefits that, you know, aside from the money that are on the table, you want. Or they know you live, devil energy. For some, they know you live in fear of them. You've, like I said before, walking on eggshells. They know that you don't want to push them, so they keep pushing you. Overall energy, Virgo, if I could pick up the card, Ace of Cups. So I feel this is mostly for self-love, self-reflection, not apologies, but like making amends with yourself. You know, this came up earlier in someone else's reading. I don't remember who. It may have been Taurus or Gemini. One of those earlier readings I did today, where there was self-guilt or feeling like you made the wrong choice, or like being shown quote unquote, you made the wrong choice. That is kind of what I'm feeling here. Or in some cases, if this is the family that you're born into, that you grew up with or something like that, there's like this feeling of, well, there was nothing I could do to prevent it. That's possible. That's possible. You know, in the grand scheme of things, at this time in human existence, Virgo, I don't know about you, but there's like a mass, in my estimation, and in several people's estimation, there's a massive evolution, conscious evolution, collective evolution that's going on. And many things are happening for the first time, or many revelations are happening for the first time. Many considerations are being made for the first time. So it's kind of like, what's the purpose then? Is sort of what I feel the Ace of Cups is kind of giving to you. What is the purpose of this family dynamic that you've been born into? What is the purpose of you spending 30 years committed to one particular person through marriage or through work or both? Who knows? Like, why was that decision made when it was made? Why is that written in your book of life? Figuring that out and then finding and having peace with it. That's a transcendent move. To quote unquote suffer, which I told you this bottom line feels like suffering, to suffer and then come out the other side appreciative, aware, enlightened. That's the jive. Oh my God, I'm like the oldest person on earth. Anyway, that is what this is all about. At least in my estimation, this era that we're living through as humans. You know, this, whatever. I'm not going to get into it. But Virgo, that is your reading. If that made sense to you, if it resonated with you, please like the video. Be sure to leave a comment down below if you want to share how it resonated with you. And if you haven't subscribed before, please do so now. But again, don't do anything you don't want to do. But all that stuff helps support your girl in a very passive way. A direct line of support is to book a personal reading with me if you are interested. Of course, again, don't have to do anything you don't want to do. All right? Virgo, I'll be back soon with your mid-July readings. Until then, I thank you all so much for watching. Take care.